And we're live! How is everybody doing today? So, I should start this off. Hey, y'all, I'm James Wright, and welcome to my shop. Today, we're going to be having a little bit of fun in here. This is the Q&A. So, if you have any questions, throw them in the live chat. I'm going to try and get the questions saved and then put into the description down below as long as I can get my file writer to actually hold out for this one. So, if you are watching this not live, go ahead and... Oops, that's the wrong button. Let's try this again. There we go. We're still live. Okay, good. Helps if I actually keep this live because I don't want to hit the wrong button and go like, oops, I just turned it off. If you are not watching this live, then go ahead and look down in the description below, and I'll try and have a list of all the questions with timestamps on them so that you can jump straight to that in the chat. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I had a phone call that just would not end. It was one of those people that, they just keep talking. So today I want to actually go through some of the questions. A lot of these questions have been coming up due to the recent update, and I thought this would be a good time to do it. It's been probably about a month and a half since I've done a good live on here, so... You just pull this up and get rid of these. And let's see what kind of questions we have in here. So if you have any questions, throw them into the live chat. If I miss your question, go ahead and throw it in there again, and I'll try and get to as many of them as I possibly can. Let's start with this one. When active sync. This is from Bas Schloesser. It will be coming out as soon as... let's see, as soon as we have the, everyone has been pushed into it. Because right now, they just rolled out the update, and they're going to be testing a few things, making sure it's stable. Once they know it's stable, then they're going to require the update. And at that point, everyone has to have the update in order to play. At that point is when they will start rolling out ActiveSync. So I'm hoping by this weekend, but it all depends on if there are any bugs or anything that pop up as the game comes out. How are your family? Good. Actually, we just got over a thing of sickness, so thank you, Water Lily. We had a good bit of fun in the house the last week from sickness, but we are all good right now. Do you know about the known issues for port keys? Yes, part of that is due to the new update, and there are just a lot of things that can't be tested until it goes out to all the things. Some people just aren't able to open up their port keys. I could pick up 2 extra, but they're not visible. Oh, okay, that's a little bit different. That is actually because you haven't updated the app yet. The server side would allow you to pick up 10 port keys, but you couldn't see the other 2 until you updated the app, and then it would give you the slots so you could see the other 2. All of the port key updates went live yesterday before the update came out because those were on the server side. They didn't actually have to update anything on there. So those are now live, and you should be able to get those now that the app is out. Let's see what other we have. Yes, I am from Rockford, Illinois, so woohoo! And I'm going to be traveling all over the place. I'm going to actually be doing a meetup in Madison, Georgia this Friday. I might be in Orlando later this year. I might be in Ohio. I might be out in California. So there's a bunch of fun trips coming up. Yeah, I'm trying to do this one at this time for those of you in Europe. I do them at different times. I'll do one at either like really early or really late for me so that people in Asia can do it next time. But this time it is in the afternoon for me so that people in Europe, it's in the evening for you. Yeah, don't hit wrong buttons. I've done that several times where I've set up a live and then it's like, oops, I clicked the wrong button and dropped it. Let's see. Jenn S has a question. How exactly do dark detectors work? Looking for Picket and Magi flags. With dark detectors, there's a couple things you want to know. The most important thing is put them in a location that has a high spawn volume. So when you arrive at the location with the inn and you open up the scanner, you open up the app, you want to be able to see around 6 or so traces in the area before you start collecting them. That means that it's a high spawn ratio, and you'll be able to get far more out of that. I have an inn that I go to. When I pull up, I open it up, and I'll see 8 to 10 spawns within range of me, and I know that's a good one. Next, you want to use all 3 dark detectors. I know there are people out there who say that you should use one dark detector on several inns, but that spreads out the value, and you don't get as many of the high or the rare traces. So you want to use all 3 dark detectors on the same in. If you do have more people out there and you do have multiple ends around, go ahead and load them all up. It is fun, and you got to walk around for that because the spawn radius of the ends is slightly, well, the spawn radius of the end is about the same size as your view radius. So if you stand on top of the end, you should see everything that end spawns. But if there's another end in a different location, it could have things spawning outside of your vision. And so that's why it's a lot of fun to do with a group. You can all walk around and see where things pop up. That being said, I mean, you're still only, on average for me, I'm only going to get, 2 or 3 red flares, 2 or 3 orange flares. And so you're not going to get a lot of everything, but you are going to get a decent amount. And so that's the way I usually do my dark detectors. Let's see. Keep it simple. Sense. Is there any new tips or tricks to ensure or increase the chance of getting a fragment for challenge pages? Not really. They haven't changed that much at all since the game started. So fortress hunting is the same as it has always been. Yeah, basically, if you're hunting for fortress foundables, wow, I'm having issues peeling off. You want to know which places you are going to, because every level in the fortress has a different set of foundables that can be spawned there and a different ratio that can be spawned there. So if you're looking for a particular fortress foundable, it may occur in 4 or 5 different levels of the fortress, but it will have the highest chance in one or the other. And there are several charts out there that will actually show you, if you're looking for a particular foundable, this is the one you should focus on because it has like a 20% chance of finding it there. That being said, most people are really looking for a lot of different things. And so I actually did a video recently where I went through a spreadsheet that was created. And this spreadsheet would take where are all of your current standings and so if you go to a fortress, what area of the fortress should you focus on so that you can get the best chance of a wide variety of fortress foundables. So that kind of helps things out. But as to regular foundables, wild foundables, exploration foundables, there's a word. Those, it doesn't matter what level you go to. The higher the level you go to, the higher the runestone, the better the chance you're going to get one. But the level you go to won't determine which one you get. You will always get one. If you do get one, it will be completely random as to which one. So you can't pick which exploration foundable you're going to get by what level you go to. Only the fortress foundables. It appears to me that gift drops and ends have changed. Can you confirm? Yes, it does appear. This is from Steph A75. Hey, Steph. Yes, they did change it. I'm guessing about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It seems like they give out less rather than be about 50%. It now seems like it's down around 30%. I think that was because there was a huge flood of energy gifts, and people just gotten to the point where not everyone wants an energy gift anymore, and so there are less of those out there. So you have to go to more ends before you do get one. But it appears that fortresses and greenhouses are about the same ratio as they have been in the past. When Adventure Sync goes live, do we need to choose between HP and Pogo, or will it update distances for both apps? It should update for all the apps. Because the way it works is when you actually go in, so let me back this up and let me describe what Adventure Sync works. Adventure Sync takes one of the apps on your phone, either Apple Fit or Google Fit or Samsung Fit, that's on your phone and running. And when you open up the app and you're about to play Wizards Unite, the app will then go to Google Fit or whatever you use and say, hey, have we walked any distance since last time we were open? And Google Fit will respond with, yes, you've walked this distance. And then it will update all the port keys. And so if you immediately open your app, it may take a few minutes for that to percolate and show, oh, you've walked a new distance. So It will work with multiple platforms. So basically, if you're playing Pogo and you're playing Wizards Unite, when you open up Wizards Unite contacts your app and says, hey, have we walked any distance? And then later you open up Pogo and Pogo talks to your app and says, hey, have we walked any distance? And so you should be able to play it perfectly fine with multiples of them. I've had a lot of people ask about Fitbit and other trackers, and there are actually programs you can get to connect those, because I use Garmin for my running, which it's pretty much the standard for ultra distance running. Everyone uses Garmin, but Garmin doesn't sync with a lot of things, and there's actually a couple apps you can get to connect to it. Let me actually show you what I have, if I can ever get my phone to work here. I use an app called Health Sync, HealthSync, and what this does is it will take Fitbit or Garmin or whatever tracker you use and then sync it with Google or Apple or Samsung, so that you're using your app on your phone, but it'll get more accurate data from your tracker. So I don't have to have my phone on me to track distance. My watch tracks distance, and then my watch syncs to Garmin, and then Garmin syncs whoa, excuse me. Garmin syncs with Health Sync, and then Health Sync syncs with my Google Fit, and then Wizards Unite talks to Google Fit and says, has we walked any distance? Well, my watch will then eventually percolate down through all that. So if I don't have my phone on me, it's okay, because my distance will still be tracked by my watch. The other question a lot of people have been asking is, will biking or treadmill running work? Biking generally doesn't, because most of the trackers test it by a vibration of steps, and so they're counting how many steps, and that's how they get the distance. There is some gray area in that for some trackers over biking, but most of the time biking won't count. Treadmill, though, because you're bouncing, the treadmill should take that distance and calculate it for you. So hopefully that answers those questions. I know there will be lots more to come, though, so go ahead and throw them down below. Yeah, gift drops have changed. Are we going to do excuse me. Are we going to do Doxy hunts again at Wizards Unite FanFest? They haven't announced what the FanFest will be yet, and I'm really interested to see this. This was a question from Elisabeth Kelley. FanFest, I don't know if they will have it at the same place or a different place, or if they're going to change things up. My assumption is that they'll probably have it at the same place at least once, but I don't know. We'll probably do an early morning doxy hunt. Again, that was a lot of fun. Not everyone has all their doxies, and I think I need like 12 left, and I've been holding off on those. I'm not doing anything in the morning because I want to save those for a specific doxy hunt. But yeah. So yeah, I'll probably be doing an early morning doxy hunt next time we get together. Man, I should have brought something to drink. I'm having throat issues here. Sorry about that. Meljoy, Orlando, yes. It looks like our family's going to be doing a vacation doing Orlando and NASA. So that should be kind of fun. Can you explain how Adventure Sync? Yeah, just went through that. How are they going to bring back the start button for Wizards Challenge? So a lot of people have been asking about the start button. This is from Doug Rogers. The problem with the start button, it isn't just that they took it away because they took it away. The problem is that there's a complication with that in the last update, not the one that just came out. And basically it caused it to crash like 30% of the time. And they originally thought, oh, this is going to be an easy fix. We'll be able to pump out a next update for it. And the more they dug into it, they realized it's kind of like pulling the string out of the sweater, and it's something that you're basically going to have to reprogram a lot of the fortress battles in order to make that timer work again. It's not just clicking a start button and making it work. There's a ton of programming that goes in it. It's just becoming a bigger problem than it was anticipated. So yes, this is a very high thing on the programmer's list. A lot of us were really expecting it to be able to come out in this update, but apparently it's going to take far more work. So it is in the list, but you're going to have to wait longer for it. So yeah, it is a very nice quality of life feature that saves a huge amount of time, and they are working on it, and it will come out as soon as it possibly can. Jenn S has a question. Does it matter if dark detectors are placed in a flag area or a non-flagged area? There is some confusion in this, and this is something I want to do a little bit more research in. My last test that I did in it showed absolutely no difference between flagged zone and non-flagged zone as long as it was a high spawning area. However, I've had quite a few people recently tell me that no, you actually do get more of the flagged items, of the severe and emergency flagged items popping up in that zone. So I do want to go back and test it and see if they've changed anything on that. So it might actually cause you to get more of the flagged items in that flag zone. So if you're looking for something that's magical games and sports, try to find a high spawning in magical games and sports flagged areas. Yeah, I know that's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but yeah. Good luck with that. The inns that I usually go to are not in a flag zone, but I keep going there because it is such a high spawning area. I get a ton when I go there. I know that if I go there and spend a half hour, I'm probably going to be getting 3 to 4 orange flares and 3 to 4 red flares. So that's just the way I roll. Do you know if people can deplete an inn for gifts? I haven't been able to collect gifts from To Home. No, they don't deplete that. It's just the chances. The problem with inns, well, not the problem, but the way they're set up is that inns change the gift that they give every hour on the hour. So at the top of the hour, there's a roll of the dice in the background, and it's basically a 1 in 3-ish chance that they will give a gift of some kind. So 60% of the time, that next hour, they're not going to give anything. And so you just have to check it again at the start of every hour and see if they're going to be giving gifts this hour. And then during that hour, you just keep grinding on that inn, and you'll be getting gifts. It's really nice when you do find one that gives an extravagant gift. You just like, oh, I'm staying here for the hour. We're getting all these extravagant gifts. That was from Tiquipay. Sorry, man. I'm horrible with those. Let's see. This was on 21. May drive to Orlando. Yeah, Jasper Jack. I'd love to see you there. This is from Bernhard Kau. Sorry, Bernard. I really should learn how to pronounce your last name on here. Are we continuing the best fortress research even though the timer is still in place? No, I've stopped that research for now until they get the start button up and going again, because it was just the research that I got on it was so messed up from that and a few other things. And I have a better plan in mind for how to collect that. But I don't want to start it now because they could be bringing back that start button anytime, and then it would just mess it all up again. So I'm waiting until that gets fixed, and then we will be continuing the research on the best fortress level to do. Yes, that's one I really want to do, and I've had a lot of people asking me about that research, so hopefully it'll be coming here soon. Speaking of research, I'm trying to figure out that with the new sorting options in the app, you have the ability to sort by alphabetical order, or you have the ability to sort by gifts. And if you select gifts, we haven't figured out exactly what the organization is for that yet, because at the top you have gifts you need to accept and gifts that and you can give. So if a person has a gift for you and you haven't given them a gift, they'll be at the top. And then down later you'll have a person who has gifts for you, but you have already given them a gift. You can't give them another one. And then below that, you have ones that don't have a gift for you, and you can give them a gift. So other than that, I haven't seen exactly how the organization breaks down in that. So if anyone has any ideas on that, we're doing a little bit of research on the hive mind, and I'd love to hear about that. Any strategies for increasing chances of encountering one solo? This is for elite foes. Basically, the higher you go or the harder the challenge, the better the chance you're going to find an elite foe. This was a question from Lesley Suddard. Suddard? Cool, I think I got that one. Probably destroyed it, sorry. But yeah, the greater the difficulty is, the better the chance you are going to find an elite foe. So go higher in the fortress or use a higher runestone, and a better chance you're going to find an elite foe. If I am specifically elite foe hunting, what I'm usually going to do is Fortress 1, and I'll pop in there and I'll see the number of foes available. If it is a low number, that means there's a high chance that there is an elite foe in that. If it's a high number, then I'm probably going to leave the chamber and come back in. Yeah, I'll burn a runestone, but my goal is hunting for elite foes. And so that's usually my method for doing that. Question: has there been much success in determining which POI is going to be a fortress? My work has 8 inns, 1 greenhouse, and 0 fortresses. Wow, that is a really nice place to work, man. This is from Richard Uchida. Thanks, Richard. We have been trying to figure this one out, and so far, no, we have not found a pattern to what becomes a greenhouse, a fortress, or an inn. We have found the pattern to what makes what color of inn, but as to fortresses and greenhouses, we haven't yet collected that. The one weird thing we found is that if there is a very high density of POI, there's a good chance that they will all be greenhouses. So if you have, a couple acres that have 5 or 6 POI, there's a good chance that you're going to have, 5 or 6 greenhouses. There's a place not too far from me that has 15 greenhouses, 1 inn and 1 fortress, just because they do. Also, if it tends to be a very rural location and it's just one out by itself, it's probably going to be a greenhouse. We do have some inkling about it is the data connected with the POI that will make it a fortress, but what exactly it is, I don't know. This is from Melba Griffith. Fitbit doesn't look like it will be available to use Google. Yes, you can use Fitbit if you use a third-party app to adapt it to Google. So like the HealthSync app I was talking about, you use HealthSync and you can connect your Fitbit to the HealthSync, and the HealthSync can then connect it to Google. So you'll be able to use your Fitbit for your active tracking. Is there, as to what areas are... is there a reasoning as to what areas are flagged differently? I've seen parks are care magical creatures. Yes, actually I have a whole video. This is something we figured out like a week or 2 into the game. So this would have been back in early July. I put out a video actually going through that. And it is kind of surprising, like banks are dark arts. So if you're looking for dark arts, go find a bank. Anything with sports, sporting complexes and things like that tend to be magical games and sports. And there's a whole list of that. And some of them, there's a large gray area to them, but there is actually a bit of a thought process to that. So it's kind of cool. But I always like the dark arts being magical games and sports. Here, let me do this. I'm going to be scrolling down here. I might just disappear for a moment. Oop. No, not that. Computers. What would I do? Oh, thanks for the super chat, Melba. That is awesome. I need to do something for that. I really need to set up something for super chats. I have it for my woodworking, but I don't have anything on here. 27. Do you think they're going... Do you think they're going to add an icon for Apple Watch? They will have Apple Fit connected to it. So your Apple Watch should sync with your Apple Fit. Labor Day weekend again for 2020 Indianapolis. That would be kind of cool. We'll see. Yeah, I've had a lot of people saying that they think that the Wizards Unite development team is lazy. They really aren't. They are working crazy hard for this. You're comparing them to Pokemon Go. And a lot of people think that because Niantic's the same behind it, they're going to put the same resources between them. Well, no. Wizards Unite is like 2% of what Pokemon Go is. And so there isn't a lot of resources that can be put towards it. So it takes longer to do some of the coding needed for it. So cut them a little bit of slack. They're putting a lot of heart into this. So and they're doing a great job. They are addressing a lot of things faster than I expected them. Yeah, some things take longer, but they do very, very good work. Thanks for the tip.
Last night after the update, ins did not maintain extravagant drops for the full hour. Interesting. That's from Steph. I haven't gone out and done in hunting since I pulled that out, but that'd be kind of interesting to look at. When do you think new lessons plan might come out? Sometime in the future. Part of me really thinks not until 1 year of the event, so not until June. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them in March. And I talked about this last month when I did the events coming up. March would be a good time. They've gotten through the lull of January. Things start building up again in February, and then a big punch in March would be kind of cool. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't come out with new lesson plans until June with the 1 year mark. But we'll see. They could surprise us earlier or not. Who knows? I think that when they do that, it will be a big change because they'll probably end up doing a whole new fortress redo, or adding more levels or changing up things with the runestones, because we have seen in the code runestones going all the way up to number 10. I don't know how they'll do with that. Any chance there will ever be timers on dark detectors? That's one of the things on the list that they talked about they want to add. But that's a nice quality of life thing. They have other bugs that they're working on. Usually the way a programmer looks at it is they look at bugs that stop the play of game, bugs that hurt the quality of life, and that's where the start button goes. And then they have bonuses to be added that will affect the game, and then bonuses that will affect quality of life. And so sometimes, if they're really easy things, they might just throw that in there, but most of the time they're working up the list and working on the things that are more top of the line problems. So yeah, I'm sure that will be something they want to add, but yeah. Where are buttons for Adventure Sync? They're not out yet. They will hopefully be out by the end of this week. Once they actually push the update and they know it's stable, then they'll roll out active Adventure Sync. Yeah, I thought oldest gifts were at the top, and then I got a new gift from someone new, and it was about halfway down the list. And I was trying to figure out what caused that. So I haven't figured out what the sorting is with the gifts yet. Sorry, reading down through these comments, trying to find questions. If you put question at the beginning, it makes it stand out and easier for me. Do you think new things that are not stolen from Pogo? Do you think get... that's one of the things that I was not as happy with the game about, is that it really just doesn't seem to be that different from Pogo. And I think the big reason for that is that they're trying not to take away too many resources from Niantic. And so if they can work on it in Pogo, then it makes it easier to integrate it into Wizards Unite, although it is still integrating onto a new platform. There are a few things that are different, but yeah, there are a lot of similarities. Question, my local park is my favorite place to play, has 2 green roof inns. Both were turned into blue roof inns at the beginning of the year. Any ideas how this happened? Usually it's because some new POI has happened somewhere near. Anywhere within like a half mile can affect the greens, the inns, and what they are. If more come in, then the inns get downgraded in quality. And that way they can maintain the average amount of item output over a specific area. That was from PG Farber. So yeah, if you ever notice that an inn gets downgraded, go look around and see if there's any new POI that's popped up, and there probably is. Any news about where Fluffy can be found at the moment? No, I haven't actually. It is so rare, so few and far between on finding Fluffy that we really don't have any good detailed information. This is from Sir Benny. And everything on that page, particularly, this is a very rare thing. It does seem to be that it can be found anywhere at any time, but we haven't found any particular correlation between the things on that page. So it'd be kind of fun. That's that page and the dragons page are things that I feel that they're just saving for events, because you need those really, really rare things, those mythical items that are just incredibly hard to find or you have to travel for. You need things like that that have a crazy draw that you just can't get anywhere else that you can bring out for events. That's why I really don't like the idea of people talking about making dragons more available or showing others, because that is something that they can hold out and they can bring out for an event like once or twice a year, and it makes it very, very special. And if you don't keep them rare and keep them incredibly hard to find, then they're not as special when they do come out for that. Did anyone play Pogo at first? Wizards Unite is way further along. Yes, very much from iWyzards. Yeah, I played Niantic from day 2. I played Pogo from day 1. And yeah, Pogo initially was just such a basic thing. We are in Wizards Unite. We are where Pogo was like 2 or 3 years into the game. It's far better. So we're doing really good. The problem is people keep comparing Wizards Unite to Pogo, and you can't do that because Pogo has so much money behind it. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars being thrown into that game. They can do a lot. There's not that being thrown into Wizards Unite. Do you think they'll be doing a scroll swap, like 500 scrolls for red books? No, I don't think they'll be doing anything quite like that. Niantic really hasn't really done swapping or trading of items. That's not the normal. Actually, can't think of any time where they have implemented that. Usually, if you end up getting a lot of one item, they either make a way for you to get rid of those items, or they find a way to use those in the future in other ways. So I'm assuming that there will be a very heavy scroll toll in the next lesson plan, but we'll find out how that comes. Any idea when distinct spellcast 3 achievements will be available? Sometime in the future. I don't know. Because right now we only have 12 spellcasts available. Even though a lot of people have 13 spellcasts that they have, that's actually a glitch. There are only 12 spellcasts in the game, but if you have the 13th spellcast, you're one of the lucky people. But yeah, I don't know when they will have that, but that'll probably be coming out with a re-rendition of more foundables being released and things of that nature. Yeah, we keep looking at this like it should be a finished, polished game, but there are so many things to be coming in the future, and we have to wait years and years for those because this is something that's designed to be a very, very long-term game, not just something that occurs right now. Have you heard that once you get to level 60, it doesn't track your XP anymore? Do you think there's a lack of starting tracking in the game? I have heard it from both ways. I've heard people say that it stopped tracking and then they fixed it and now it is starting tracking. And then I've heard someone else say, no, it still doesn't track it anymore. I'm not at level 60, so I don't know. But yeah, I am actually kind of surprised on some of the things that they track and some of the things that they don't, because once you've reached the achievements, you no longer can track them in the achievement. But one of the things that they're really trying hard to do in this game is they don't want people to compare one to the other. I know it's really hard to do because we're human. We all want to compare one to the other. But they're trying to make it a non-competitive game. And I really applaud that. And that's one of the big reasons why they're probably never, ever going to do PvP in the game, because they don't want it to be a competitive game where one person has to compare themselves against another person. And I think that's one of the big reasons why they're not putting out a lot of those long-term tracking items, even though I would like it to see my own stats, but that's the way things go. Any talk about trading? Yeah, we just talked about. Trading with your friends. There's lots of talk about that, but the problem with trading potions with friends is that is an incredible amount of programming. And there's so many other things they're working on with programming right now. The resources for that are rather limited. So yeah. And if anyone has any programming background, you may think, wow, it really wouldn't take that long to program that in there. But you're not just programming one app. You're actually programming two. You're programming Android and you're programming Apple. And the two of them have to work together. And they have to work on hundreds of different phones. And so you have to test them on all of these. And so you're basically ended up making the app over and over and over again, everyone having a slightly different iteration. And then every time you build on top of it, you have to make sure that all of these still work together. So it is a very complicated thing to make. Lots more work than most people think right off the bat. Question, can you request a POI? This is from Christina White. If you are in Ingress and you are level 10 or higher, you can request POI. And if it becomes something in Ingress, then there's a chance that it'll do that in Wizards Unite and Pogo. If you are level 16 in Ingress, you get a high priority. People who are level 16 in Ingress can request them far better and faster. If you are level 40 in Pogo, you can also request POI, and that will go through. But there's different standards for all things. So it might become a portal in Ingress, and it might still become a Pokestop in Pogo, but you come into Wizards Unite and it doesn't show up because there's different standards for them. I have one that I submitted like that, and it was really sad because it became a portal in Ingress, and the next week it became a Pokestop and an inn, and I was really happy. And then the next week it disappeared as an inn, but it was still a Pokestop. I was like, oh well. When do you think they might activate a big gun battles that we think may be group battles on a foe? So this is from Benjamin. Hey, man. Guy I play with all the time here. Yeah, this would be something I'd love to do, like raid battles in Pokemon Go, where you get multiple people have to come together. There is a lot of server integration that has to happen on that, so a ton of programming. But I think that's something that they want to do in the future, because the idea of working together and uniting is a big thing. And being able to have large groups, more than just 5, would be really, really cool, especially if you have massive boss battles. That would be cool. Curious about boss foes, battle things. Yeah, if you go into your registry page and go to your Fortress Foundables, over on the side there are these wanted posters. And it's like, what are those for? Really, really looking forward to seeing how they work those in, but I haven't seen it yet. Unrelated to Wizards Unite, but your 100K run, how much time did you have to finish it? Just did that, just over a week ago. So for those of you who don't know, I did a 100K race up in northern Wisconsin in the winter through the woods, and it has a 24-hour cutoff time, which most years that's pretty good. Most people can do it in 24 hours, even though there's only like a 20% completion rate. And so my goal was 18 hours, but I fell drastically short. I was feeling really good up until the last 9-mile segment, and I had to drop out 9 miles away from the finish. And so I still got 8th place. There were only 5 people out of the 120 some that actually attempted it that completed. It was one of the most grueling years that we've had. So I'm very, very happy with how far I got. It was incredible. But I was out there for 20 hours, almost all of which was at night. It was negative. It was 8 degrees temperature with 20-mile-an-hour winds. So the wind chill was down around -20 or more or lower. It was a grueling run, but a lot of fun. And that was this one here, the blue and red bib. Oop, that one there, 123. Question: when are they going to update the mystery items? Yeah, it's been a long time. That's the other thing that's really bugging me about the game, is that the story is one of the things that really drew me into this at the beginning. I wanted to find the story, and they really seemed like they were off to the game with this. And I expected it to be something, every 3 months or so we'd get another chunk of the story thrown in here, but we haven't seen anything yet. So yeah, I don't know. That's something we're not going to find out more until we get more lesson plans, or I don't know. But it's been a little bit sad. Questions. Will you delete port keys ever? No, they'll never allow you to delete port keys. And for the same reason that they probably will not ever allow you to see what the port keys are on the ground, because if you saw what the port keys were on the ground or you could delete them, then people would only have 10K port keys or the specific one that they're looking for. And so it's kind of the luck of the draw, and it adds to the game and the mystery of figuring it out. So I don't think they'll ever allow you to delete them or see what's on the ground. Is Adventure Sync is already running? Can't find. No, it's not running yet. Hopefully, it'll be coming by the end of this week. Once the update has been pushed to everyone, Adventure Sync will be out. Do you think dueling with other players will be available? Nope. I don't think they'll ever do PvP. It just goes against Wizards Unite. We want people working together, not against each other. What new concepts like flu powder or vanishing cabinet or temporary travel? That is one of the things that a lot of people have been talking about, and they actually mentioned that in one of the concept posts that they put out recently. The idea of being able to work on a fortress together with people who are in other locations, I think that is something that they really want to do. But again, that's a lot of programming. So sometime in the future, but not anytime soon. But I think it would be very, very cool. That was from Joseph Perata Jr. Douglas Souza. As a solo player, is it worth grinding registry pages of challenges like book 1 through 3, or is it better to focus on high fortress levels for brown book farming? If you are trying to farm your red books, then your best place for most people is actually Ruins 5, Tower 1, that area. So working on the joke products and the books is actually the best place to go for your red books, based on time. So the time in Fortress. If you're going based on runestones to red books, the higher you go, the better. So it depends on what you're looking at. If you are at the fortresses for finishing off your foundables, then you are going to you're going to want to focus on the particular fortress levels you need to get those foundables. If you're in it for books and you have a limited amount of time, then you're going to want to stay usually around the high ruins to low towers. That's the butter zone for most people. Hopefully we'll be figuring that out again here soon. But if you have a limited amount of runestones and that's what you're worried about, then you want to go as high as you can, and you will get more books per runestone by going higher. Question, I heard it's a 10-year story planned. Was that just some random thing? No, they actually, when they were originally describing the game and talking about it, this is a question from Michelle Joy. They talked about it as a decades-long story arc. So this is not something that was just thrown out there. This is something that they're planning. This game is intended to be years and years and years long. So they have this whole long thing planned out. And so there are lots of other things that can be added over time, and it's intended to that be. And so a lot of people are, like, we've been in it for 6 months. Why haven't we gotten this? Well, it's, a decade-long storyline means, 6 months we've just gotten started in it. But I would expect a little bit faster in some things, but some things I've been actually really surprised with how fast they've been doing it. So we'll see how it comes. Do you think that will be? I read that one. Do you refer to portkeys as portkeys while out catching with your friends? I call them portkeys. Some people are really particular about pronunciation, like pello or pello. And I don't hear pronunciation as much as most people. So I pronuncificate however I want to pronuncificate. Sorry, I have fun with that. Can be there a way to implement exploring? I enjoy getting unique unique IR doing missions in Ingress. Yeah, I would like that. That's one of the things that I love about Ingress is doing missions that actually take you into different parks or different locations, and you have to see these new locations. I think that is absolutely awesome, and I would love to do something like that. And if you guys haven't played Ingress, Ingress is still my first love when it comes to geolocation games. It is a phenomenal game. I really like how they set it up. That was one of the things that really surprised me when this came out. Is I expected, there's a huge jump from Ingress to Pokemon Go, and I expected another huge jump from Pokemon Go to Wizards Unite. And instead, if we went from like 1 to 5 with Ingress to Pokemon Go, I expected 5 to 10 for Wizards Unite, but instead we got 5 to 5.5, maybe 6. So, yeah. But that's one of the fun things, are missions in Ingress that are incredibly fun. I would love to see that here. What do you think the portkey update? This is from Emily Schmitz. That was actually one of the really surprising things with this update. I was absolutely blown away with this update. This is, in my opinion, one of the best updates we've had in a long time. And we're finally getting active sync. We're being able to sort things. There are several good fixes in the game, and people have been asking for a long time to get new rewards in the portkeys, because we've been just getting the same thing over and over again. So they said, okay, well, we're going to switch this up and change a bunch of things, and they put in the horned serpents that some people just can't get. They put in the dragon's eggs, so you can be ready for when they do a dragon's day. You can already have those all maxed out in your pages. They did a lot of things that I was expecting. I thought this was great. This is absolutely awesome, and the outcry from this was absolutely mind-blowing. People were thinking this was one of the worst updates ever because they no longer had access in the portkeys to the rare items, and that really surprised me that people didn't like that. And so they responded to that, and that is one of the amazing things about Wizards Unite, is they listen to the audience beautifully, and they do a phenomenal job of listening to the audience. And they've said, okay, well, we're going to mix it up again. We're going to change it. We've taken your responses. We'll change it up. So they're going to be, one of the goals is to be changing the rewards from portkeys regularly. And so they realize that people really do want those ultra rare things coming from portkeys. So we might as well work that around, but we want to actually change things, and so having different things available at different times will be what's going on there. So they have heard the cry out from that, and they will be fixing that and providing new things. So hopefully we'll be hearing in the next few weeks how they're going to change that in the future. But be ready for it, because they're going to be changing the rewards from portkeys on a regular basis. So they will be rolling through in different things. This isn't something we're changing it now. It's going to be this forever. It's going to be something that's constantly changing. So, yeah, I was really surprised by the outcry on that. I did not expect people to complain about that. I thought it was a phenomenal update and did a great job on it, but apparently I was wrong. Question, Ingress like banners? Sorry, don't know what you mean here. Question, what are your thoughts on spell energy in portkeys? Personally, I feel like it's a letdown after the... Well, you have to think about this from the mindset of the creators. For 5 or 6 months, all people complained about was, we don't have enough energy, 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 we don't have enough energy. And there were like Reddit posts where you would have 6 or 7 posts all at the top just saying, talking about, we don't have enough energy, we don't have enough energy. And so they said, okay, we're going to do gifts with energy, and we're going to then put it into the sponsored fortresses. And they found several other ways to increase energy and provide that. And one other one was, hey, we can put it into portkeys now that we're going to be re-changing that. And so they're responding to the audience. But then they're getting this outcry of, no, we don't want energy anymore. It was like, okay. That's all you've been asking about for months, and now this is the first time you said, now we're getting too much. No, I think that even for a lot of rural players, it's still a great addition. So no, I don't think that is a nerf to include energy into the portkeys. I think it's a pretty obvious move. And I think a lot of people are thinking, does that mean we're going to be getting energy in every portkey and like half of the items are energy? No, it's going to be one of the possibilities. Most people have been saying somewhere in the range of like 1 in 5 to 1 in 10 might be an energy. So it's not a huge increase. It's another source of energy. So yeah, I kind of like that, but we'll see. They're amazing to listen to us. Yeah, if you've ever played, I mean, even like Pokemon Go and Ingress, they're not great at listening. Niantic really isn't that good at listening to the audience and responding fast. WB has been phenomenal about actually listening. I mean, having phases in the group and having someone you know works at WB, and you can contact her and say, hey, we're thinking about this. What do you think about that? And she is active on all the Reddit pages. She's active on all the Discord pages. She's active in YouTube comments and several of the websites. They are phenomenal at listening to the audience and making changes and adjusting. So, yeah. Where do you think FanFest will be? Talked about this a few times. My guess is, if I had to guess, I'm going to say they're going to do it again, the same place in where it was this last year. And then probably 1 or 2 other places somewhere else in the world. So like someplace in, I would love to see it in London or someplace around there. And in maybe like someplace like Singapore or something like that. That would be my guess. But with the size of the game, they may only do it in one location, in which case they're probably going to move it around. But I don't know. There really isn't an MO for this, and it is a very different thing from Pokemon Go or Ingress, because Ingress has events all the time, all over the place. And we'll see how it goes. Oh, yeah, banners for Ingress when you do multiple missions. Yeah, that would be very cool. That was from Ken Cleverly. I know you wanted Indy again. Yeah, Lady Brittany would love it. She lives pretty close there. Yeah, I would love to see it in London, because I would love another reason to fly over there. But we will see. Do you know why after Prestige and a page, some found a bowls require more, but certain ones require less? This severely... I'm sorry, man, I don't know what you're saying. You might have to reword that. Question, do you know how many daily players Wizards Unite has? I do not know the number of daily players. I know I've seen charts on the revenue income, and that's usually the best response to how well a game is doing, or how much resources are being put towards a game. And so with Pokemon Go, it was I want to say 800 million. I'm probably way off. It's probably something like 600 million, but it's several $100 million. Whereas Wizards Unite was like 50, 60 million. So it's a tiny amount of what the other is. But yeah, I don't know how many daily players. That'd be kind of fun to learn out. I've had a lot of people ask me if I am supported by Niantic or WB, and the question is no. The answer is no. I am not. I don't have an NDA signed with either of them. I am not affiliated or connected with them anyway, so I don't have any particular inside information, but I have a lot of feelers with people who work there, and I can ask people questions and hope they answer me. And so there's ways of that I can find information, but I don't have any direct inside connection. Some foundables increase in number and some foundables decrease. in what you need after proceeding a page. Yeah, that's one of the interesting things. And this was referring back to the questions with the iWyzard. iWyzard. Yeah, that's one of the interesting things in the game. I'm sure there's some mathematical figuration for why that happens, but it is very interesting to see which ones work better. Oh yeah, found bowls is foundables. Got it. Yeah. Voice to text. I use it all the time, and it totally destroys everything because I am horrible at spelling. I am absolutely miserable with spelling, but that's the way it goes. All right, I'm going to be wrapping this up in a few minutes, but if anyone has any questions, throw them in there right now, and I'll try and get to them as fast as I can. But we'll probably be doing a chocolate frog here in a moment. Do you also find it more difficult to want to grind for Wizards XP now that you're level 46-ish? No, I definitely want to reach 60 eventually, but no longer feeling the same grind. XP grinding is not really one of the things that that drives me. I love the collecting capability. I love the balance between fortress foundables and exploration foundables. And seeing that back and forth and being able to okay, now I need to focus on the exploration foundables. Okay, now I need to focus on fortress foundables. That's kind of the way I work, is bouncing back and forth between the two. And eventually I will get XP. The XP grinding that I've been doing specifically is for YouTube videos where people want to see, huge numbers of XP grinding. And so I try and do that for the videos, but that's not something I generally focus on. So, yeah. Did you use third party? Have you been enjoying your journal? Oh yeah, the Wizard and Gold journal. Oh no, it's upstairs right now. Yes, no, I'm almost done with filling out January, and those are a lot of fun. So the Wizard and Gold is a lot of fun. What are the top 3 foundables you've never seen? I have seen all foundables that are in the wild, so there aren't any that I haven't seen. I do a lot of Dark Detector grinding, and so I find those quite commonly. People have been talking about getting Picket or the Dumbledore's portrait more often in portkeys, and I get them far more often in person than I do in portkeys. That's because I do a lot of Dark Detectors. Are you confident with how often you see them, or want other ways of chance to find them? I think I just answered that, but yeah. I do a lot with Dark Detectors. I like Dark Detectors. I like Barufio's Brain Elixir, and I use them a lot. Are you going to be playing anywhere fun this summer? Yeah, I'm going to be all over the United States. I was just up in Canada. There's a chance I might be down in Mexico. So we'll be trying at different places. If they switched up daily tasks, what would you want to see in the task? I would like to see gifting in the tasks. That would be kind of nice now that's included. That's one of the other things I'm expecting them to change here soon, as they have been updating things, and we're seeing the portkey rewards. I'm having a neck issue right now. So yeah, I would like to see that. I would also like to see, especially once ActiveSync is getting a daily distance or a weekly distance, that would be kind of cool to get people up and moving. Do you think our chosen Hogwarts house will have any impact on our spellcasting ability? No, doesn't change anything at all. It's just there to change your character's color. And I don't think they will do that because that then creates teams, and this game is not about creating teams. It's about creating unity. Why can't we get Swooping Evils, Picket, and others? Yeah, we just talked about that a little bit ago with the port key change. So that's they're going to be changing port keys regularly and getting rewards. So expect those to regularly be rolling one way or the other. It's not something that is going to be locked. So get ready for that. Do you think that Niantic will pick up another high-profile IP, seeing that Wizards Unite is a reflected failure? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the next thing they do is something that isn't connected with an existing company, sort of like Ingress is its own thing. But we'll see in the future. yeah, Wizards Unite isn't a failure. It just didn't hit expectations as much as people expected. It's still a completely viable and profitable game. It's just not, it didn't match Pogo, which nothing's going to match Pogo. Would you think it'd be cool to customize your avatar? Yes, I would love to see them set that up so you can customize your avatar. But again, more programming, so it's down the list of ways. So I'm going to go on to doing, let's see, did I do this one? Yeah, I did that one. Let's see, did I do this one? Yep, I did that one. So let's actually do, let's do one of these. Here. It is time for the chocolate frog. And this time we're going to do the Wheel of WooTubers. So let's see, who are we giving the shout out to today? And this was actually from Water Lily here in the chat. She created this and sent it out. And today we're going to Animagus. He is one of my favorites. I love his personality. He has one of those personalities you just can't not like. He does a great job. So definitely take a look at Animagus, and I will try and leave a link to him down below. And let's see who we got in our chocolate frog today. Come on, someone different, something new. And today we got Godric Gryffindor, the founder of my house. Cool. Well, I think that'll about do it for today. If you are going to be in Madison, Georgia, I'm looking forward to meeting up with you. We'll be there this Friday, 6 p.m. at the Cricket, and then we'll decide where to go from there. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me comments on that. And I think that'll do it for now. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Now I get to find the button of where's the end button? Where's that stop button? There it is.